Welcome back, dear viewers, to the RPG Imaginarium, where here we seek to catalog the best traditional gaming stories the internet has to offer. Tonight we bring you Gourmack Sourbrow, the orc Gourmand and his culinary adventures. He comes from a thread asking what would happen if the dwarves opened a cafe across the street from an elvish pub. The story was posted by an anonymous user on 4chan's TG board. As always, a link to the original will be posted below. The Orc, old and grizzled veteran of a dozen wars and hundreds of raids. Sit down at a local human tavern. Call for a waitress in my guttural, harsh, orcish tongue, demand to be served. She nervously hands me the menu. Can't read. Rip it to shreds and order ham hock, served over a red-eye mushroom gravy, rose-cut roasted russet potatoes with scallions, garlic and onion sautéed peas with a side order of pistachio biscotti. Wait for a good spell. Become impatient. Waitress arrives finally with the food. Cut through the ham hock. Juice is still in the center of the meat, not rested, rubbery texture. Gravy tasted like plaster. It's just cornstarch, water, and oil. Try the potatoes. Not russets, but redskin potatoes. Waxy as fuck. No subtle sweetness. They didn't even use scallions but raw green onions. Flavor overwhelms everything. Urge to kill and pillage rising. Try the peas. They were adequate. Calm down a bit. Bite into biscotti to finish this awful meal. Almonds in my biscotti. Go berserk, flip table and burn down the tavern. Rate it 1 axe out of 5. Taste of foul ham hock and green onion still lingers in my jowls. Go to local dwarf cafe to wash the taste away. Knock the door off its hinges. Invoke ancient challenge of the blood enemies of all orcdom. Serve me the finest drinks and sundries to soothe my weary palate, lest you dishonor your forefathers and forfeit your beards in shame. I throw my battle axe at their feet. All the dwarves take notice. The owner of the cafe steps forward and accepts my challenge by throwing his hammer at my feet, as per tradition. A dwarven maiden cautiously guides me to their special seat and table in a private dining room. Stonework wrought in iron and brass. The maid first brings me a selection of drinks. A brew of blackest oil, their craft stout and elderberry wine, along with a plate of fresh buttery croissants. I grab Dwarven Maiden by her throat. You dare serve me red wine with coffee? By the blood of Rugarth the Indomitable! What's next? Pair red wine with fish? I should cut off your head where you stand for this treachery. The cafe owner places his firm grip on my arm and politely tells me to refrain from my onslaught until I have tried their Dwarven concoctions in their specific order. Oh, this is rich. Their skulls will decorate my pike by sundown. I sip the coffee. Dark, rich with a plethora of different bitter and earthen notes assaulting my taste buds. Quite nice. Then I tasted the wine. My eyes widened. The different nodes of earthen bitterness danced alongside the wine's merry melody of zest, sweetness, tannin dryness, tart and fruity body. Each different note of flavor was taste and perfect, accentuating the other. I carefully savored each note and taste before washing it all down with a strong dwarven stout. Next came the croissants. As I bit into the pastry, I can't help but notice 40. No, 50, wrong again, 88 individual layers of buttery and flaky texture. Not expecting such delicate gentleness from the dwarf's obviously calloused and clubbed hands. I finished the food and beverages brought before me. The cafe was dead silent, awaiting my judgment. Without a word, I stand up and walk towards my axe that is jutting out of the splintered wooden floor planks, picking it up and leaving the establishment in peace. The joyous cheer echoes through the cafe behind me. Any dwarf that can make wine and coffee go together deserves to live. The croissant was mediocre, though. Thirst is quenched, but my stomach yearns for heartier fare. Head west to the local and small pizzeria shack. Heard a trollkin as chef there. Burst into entrance. Nose is bombarded with halitosis, body and feet odors, pungent garlic and moldy grime. Greet the troll chef with a hearty haymaker to the jawline and a few coins and teeth. The troll returns to hospitality with a good uppercut. What a swell guy. Politely asked for the house special, and he obliges. Within minutes, the troll brought out a gangrene mushroom and foot cheese pizza made with troll blood paste, and topped with boar bacon and alligator stripes. Nobody here appreciates good troll cuisine like an orc can. The troll blood paste was sharp, sweet with the right mix of zest and subtle hint of iron and blood. The foot cheese was obviously divine, nutty, salty, poignant, and very, very rich. It demanded careful and slow attention, to savor every note of flavor as it gradually sieves through all the 5 taste sensations, from bitter-sweet to creamy savoriness. The gangrene mushroom had an excellent meaty texture. The troll chef boasted that he dried the mushrooms for 40 days to concentrate and intensify their sharp, bitter savoriness, accentuating well with the smoky bacon and subtle alligator meat flavors, perfectly proportioned and well-balanced. But the crust was stale, dry, and hard. Absolutely inexcusable. I grabbed the troll by the throat and threw him into the kitchen, lunging at him as his misshapen lump of a body hits the hanging pots and pans, immediately dismembering his left arm with my battle axe. You dare serve me unworthy crust? What do you take me for, fool? What is a crust made out of? Ringwort millet. Please have mercy. I have to cut corners as he writhes in pain. No excuses. The crust is the foundation of the entire dish. No crust. It just makes a shitty casserole. Do you serve pizza or casserole, troll? Answer me. Pizza! Speak louder! The foul taste of your crust has made me hard of hearing. Pizza! Good. Good, from now on, troll can bake your pizza dough out of the freshest evergreen or staunch mountain wheat, so this grave mistake does not repeat itself, or the next limb I will dismember will be your head. Swear to me, troll! Yes, I swear! Good. I rate your establishment 2 axes out of 5, and here's a generous 35% tip for the excellent service. Farewell, and I pray our next visit ends in more favorable terms. Fucking ringwort millet? Really? That stuff isn't even fit for slaves. After a good afternoon of wholesome pillaging and warring across some piss-poor human kingdom with my warband, work up an enormous appetite. The only place in town that seems to serve enough quantities of meats to sate an orcish hunger is an elven pub and steakhouse. Fucking knife ears, I'm going to regret this. As I slowly enter the eating establishment, the minstrel stops playing his, I can only guess, are happy orc murdering songs, and all the patrons and servers turn their heads toward my direction. Their gazes were sharper than their ears, some were brandishing their bow and arrows. I walked confidently to an empty seat. All the patrons aloofly and silently parted my way, isolating me on one table, dagger-like eyes still probing my orcish features. Fucking knife ears. I beckoned an elvish wench to serve me. He hastily dropped a glass of iced river water with a little bit of mint and lemon wedge, and a menu without so much as eye contact or a friendly greeting. I noticed it was the kids' menu. Nice big pictures, no words. I made my order. Albert tartare with raw basilisk egg yolk, and tartar sauce on the side for appetizer. Medium rare dry-aged minotaur calf porterhouse steak with caramelized shallots. Rare pancetta and baked beans, and to finish off with an asparagus and dryad root salad, with a Wendigo wild wine saffron vinaigrette, paired with a 200-year-old slow-aged marquis berry wine. I could almost hear the head elven chef choke on his tongue when he heard my order. He better not fucking screw up my steak, burn my shallots, or ruin my wine saffron vinaigrette with malt vinegar, or I swear to Morgoth I will burn this place down and salt the earth for miles around, so nothing grows and nothing can be cooked. The elves all dot around whispering in their strange tongues, probably insulting me as I wait for my meal. I wish I could run the heft of my axe through every one of these backstabbing effeminate bastards, but that will ruin the atmosphere of my meal. The elves finally bring forth my food and drink after an eternity of waiting. The tartare was smooth and had a nice buttery richness. The chef must have had a kidney suey. Clever. It paired well with the slightly fishy amphibian taste of the basilisk egg yolk, accentuating well with the tartar sauce. Next came the steak. The meat fell effortlessly off the bone, and it was well marbled with creamy, rich fat, so tender that every piece melted in my mouth. Shallots were cooked just right, not burnt or too raw, providing a nice mild sweetness to complement the savory experience. Pancetta and baked beans were nothing spectacular, then were fresh and adequate, not those salted and jarred kind. And then to the salad. Asparagus was mildly bitter and earthly, paired with very nicely with a mild sweet peppery and crispiness with the sliced dryad roots. Love the contrast, although the vinaigrette in my opinion has too sharp of a citrus and tarty zing. Almost overwhelmed the flavor of the entire dish. Almost. Could do with a teaspoon less wine and a pinch more saffron, but overall the meal was quite nice. The marquis berry wine had a very heavy body for a wine, almost tasted like a dwarven stout in some aspects. Mild sweetness, sharp tartness, and extremely dry, creating a good contrast with the salad. I finished my meal and was about to head off. and I was stopped by a burly elven fellow with a cigar. "Oi, mate, you forgot to pay for your meal. Being alive is payment enough, knifey, or step aside or tonight bathes in the blood of your kin." No, you daft bastard, you don't understand. Nobody leaves this here pub without paying. Not even some pig-faced greenskin who thinks he's the be-all, end-all of fine dining. I can brush such empty profanity aside, but my patience wanes. "Move, Ro!" The elven prick lands a cheap shot in my eye. I stagger back a little. I pounce on him, and a retaliation with a brawl breaks out. Arrows guided by drunken eyes were flying in every direction. 3 or 4 of the elusive bastards were all over me. We fought all night and all day. Elves were smashed across the board. They were hanging from the ceiling, and some elves were passed out on their own vomit by the windows. Beaten and battered, the burly elf approaches me, one eye bruised and blackened shut, as I lay top of the pile of broken elven bodies, tired from the whole humbug. "So, how many axes does this place get, you barbaric green-skinned savage?" Spitting out a tooth. 4 axes, you knife-eared son of a bitch. Would have been 3, but the brawl was a nice attraction. We shook hands and parted ways. For an elf, he wasn't half bad company. Thank you all for once again tuning into another RPG Imaginarium. We're glad you enjoy these videos and stories. If you enjoyed this video and want more like it, how about giving us a like and subscribing to our channel? We're always glad to hear your feedback, and if you have a story you'd like us to read, go ahead and send us a link, whether it's your story or posted somewhere else. And of course, we will credit you and the original poster. We also have the all-newfangled social media you can follow us on, and if you'd like to support us financially, how about you check out our resident GM Chaz's books on Amazon Kindle. A special thanks to 4chan's TG board and Reddit, and to their associated archives and subreddits for providing such great stories. Thanks again, and stay caffeinated.